Rahubad Haru, this is Ro again, back at it again with another update of your daily orbit report. Peace in the Lamb is truly wonderful. Hadis Hashug Wadu. For those who know, they know, and we shall keep it that way. With that being said, this week is intense, y'all. There's a lot of fucking energy this week, and I hope y'all. Ooh, excuse me. I hope y'all ready for it, cause it is. With that being said, let's get to it.
Cookie cutter pie, fuck a pan. 3D printer Glock, couple band. This a PC, it in my hand. Legal shooter, make 'em overstand. Half court, full court, state court, magistrate court, beat the light. Nigga, who is you? Cause I forgot hit the booth and I go cool, cock
Energy themes of the week. Now, this week is pretty news heavy. It seems as if the stars want us to get out of our own frustrations by taking them out. This week seems to be a week of learning how to talk while angry. That's crazy. I wrote this a week ago. That's so crazy. And still be able to get the message across. Concentrate on calming your nerves and primal instincts, and it shouldn't be that bad. Hopefully. Check. Transit breakdown. November 9th. This is an interesting day. Not much is happening on today. It's seemingly quiet day. Okay. The moon aspects the north node in the sun, plus the moon in conjuncts Mars and Mercury. However, these inconjuncts are occurring while we are sleeping, so we probably won't feel it. Unless you work the overnight shift, it will probably be a more aggressive type of dream or something like that. If you work the overnight shift, I will be aware of people potentially having a slick mouth overnight. Not aware that you are with all of the smoke. I do find it interesting that not much is occurring astrologically because it seems like like it's a quiet before the storm, as Mercury will retrograde this week, and Mercury will conjunct Mars this week as well. It seems like today will be a perfect day to catch up on things you got to do. Or just relax and not do anything. Meditate, jump into some water, a jacuzzi, or a nice bath. A lymphatic massage would also be beneficial today. November 10th, we wake up with a Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. Damn. Wow. Expect communication mishaps, and these conversations may be very in your face. We as a collective mind are now rewinding the clock to revisit the events, situations, and conversations from the past 2-3 weeks or so. Now, Trump was ordered by a judge to give the EBT cards to the people, and he has given them 50%. However, I read that it can take from 1 week to a month for each state to process the money into the people. And then also, recently, a Supreme Court said, the Supreme Court said he ain't got to do that. It's we're really going to find out what happens when this Mercury retrograde is over, because this Mercury retrograde is going to cause all type of fucking chaos. Also, upon waking, the moon on Jupiter, excuse me. That's similar to waking up to a Folgers in your cup. A fresh cup of coffee with too much caffeine in it. Now, with Mercury retrograde occurring, this may be disrupted a little because the coffee machine isn't working, or our car breaks down, or the flight gets delayed. This is a good time to do some deep breathing before you get the day started, so we can get our minds right. The moon trines Neptune in Pisces later on, so there is a hint of dreamy delusions present. Excuse me. This trine is accompanied by a sextile to Uranus and Taurus by Neptune in the moon. Feels like a population may be enticed to purchase some type of financial instrument or want to invest in their own self-worth. This desire may not even come from them. It may just be each individual's desire to become better themselves. In the evening, the moon opposes Pluto in Aquarius, and this is the same aspect where Trump named October 14th, 2025 National Day of Remembrance for Mr. Kirk. I wonder if something else is going to come about, that event today, like some other news or something. In respect to our consciousness awareness, the population is courageously understanding its relationship to death and community. I will not be surprised to see, I hate to say it, but a shooting of some sort. Hopefully not a school one, but I think it can be community based. Maybe a community center or just within a neighborhood, something like that. Now, a few hours after the moon will sextile Mars and Sagittarius. So it could happen at night, and this could be the point of aggravation. I do want to say that Pluto opposing the moon does not automatically equal a shooting. It's just a feeling I have. I could be, and hopefully will be, dead wrong. November 11th. The moon in Leo squares Venus in Scorpio and trines Mercury in Sagittarius while we are sleeping. This may really only affect those who work overnight shift and those who live on the other side of the world. This seems like the population wants to speak on something pertaining to the heart of value or self-worth. However, that is difficult for us to say or to come to terms with because we can't find the words and the feelings are so deep that it's hard to comprehend. The moon in Leo in conjunct the North Node in Pisces. This seems like, excuse me, something catches us off guard about entertainers and belief systems. Maybe we find out something about another entertainer doing some Hollywood stuff, or there's a glitch in the matrix that shows us something behind the veil that wasn't supposed to be seen. And at 14 degrees, this could be something about money or possessions, as that is a Taurus degree. So potentially it could be about digital currencies or how currencies are being debased, or the housing market or the job numbers are looking bad or something like that. We shall see. November 12th, while we are sleeping, Jupiter starts to go into retrograde. We will start to revisit Cancer themes such as nurturing, motherhood, and psychic abilities, etc. With the planet of Jupiter being the planet in retrograde, you may start to hear people debate about these topics or theorize what a mother should do or be, even more heavily than before. Maybe there's something about females' rights or about pregnancy rights that comes out again during this time period. The morality of what women can do with their bodies may also be in question. After this retrograde, we wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. Psych. No Diddy, hashtag no Diddy. The moon in Leo is trining Chiron in Aries. This feels like there's an opportunity to heal from some trauma about our own individuality and self-perception through bringing in harmony with our emotions and leaning into the feelings of being bold and courageous. Sometimes we know what is wrong and we just need to take the first step to healing. This aspect can help you do that. Around the same time this aspect is occurring, the moon squares the sun in Scorpio. This is when we clear the field for the next cycle. You may find that situations that occurred in the beginning of Scorpio season is now starting to wrap up and transform into a new experience. Rewind back to October 23rd and you will be able to see the correlation of what is now starting to change, okay? Saturn in Pisces in conjunct the moon in Leo, and so does Neptune in Pisces. Another blind spot occurs between the population's emotional need to express and the governmental belief structures whom push delusion our way to distract us for control. This seems like, especially with the recent transits, that they are not about to let a good crisis go to waste. Now, I think something is going to occur in terms of traveling and explosions, and that is being revisited to amplify it as a distraction, as a tool to be used to acquire what they want to get. Whatever that may be, we shall see. Now, late last night, Mercury retrograde conjunct Mars in Sagittarius. This is that crisis that they won't let go to waste. I'm not a fan of this aspect, as it can bring more explosive news about blockage. Really, the economy, wars going around the world, philosophies clashing, etc. This may not play out until tomorrow, as a conjunction occurs later in the evening. But be on the lookout for very, very, very explosive news today and tomorrow. Like, hey, motherfucker, this is gonna be crazy. November 13th. So we wake up in the morning, and the moon in Virgo is squaring the Mars-Mercury conjunction. This is the population challenging the events that they heard or about to hear. Excuse me. The news that comes out is going to be wild as fuck. It could be another war article, but it won't be regular. It could be us revisiting the peace treaty in the Middle East. It could be us looking back into peace with Mr. Ukraine and Mr. Russia. I have a feeling, though, that this could be an attack on someone's soil. As when Mars went into Sag, we had the attack on the airport that shut down Reagan National Airport. This seems like it would be bigger than that, probably by a long shot. It could be a nuclear plant, as Uranus is not that far behind in degrees. Excuse me. Another thing that makes this a little more scary is that the moon conjuncts the south node in Virgo. This doesn't occur until tomorrow at like 3 a.m., but it can still play out today and tomorrow. This conjunction is unlocking or releasing something critically important. It will probably be very detailed, involve the analyzation of data for the betterment of an agenda. That is very vague. However, with this occurring right after the Mars-Mercury conjunction, this could really be an attack on someone's soil. Or maybe we find out who attacked the Reagan National Airport. It could be a death, as when Mr. Kirk passed, the moon was also on the south node. Now, granted, there were other aspects that were in his influence. However, it seems similar. Mars was at 22 degrees, so that was different. But besides that, pretty similar. Now, pray for peace in the Middle East and around the globe, because this aspect is wild. November 14th. Today is a semi-quiet day in terms of the aspects. There's really only two aspects today. The moon in Virgo sextile the sun in Scorpio is a population critically analyzing our own emotions through mentally stimulating our consciousness by the way of deep psychoanalytical processes that help us harness the power of wisdom. We are figuring out how to apply the data we gathered through our feelings in order to upgrade our vital life force. Basically taking our feelings and being like, this is how I can see the information to better myself. This stuff that has been going on lately, these explosions and shutdowns and other atrocities, have caused us to feel something. How do we feel about them? This is when we take that data and apply it to our lives in a critical situation, which may be difficult as a lot has occurred since the beginning of Scorpio season. Later, the moon in Virgo opposes the sun in Pisces. Saturn in Pisces. This is us taking the data of those emotions and contemplating them through amplifying a structural quality of belief systems that help us find the why of how this data applies through our own personal divine experience. Basically, taking our feelings and categorizing them into an almost intangible master plan where we only have to believe to receive. Today is a good time to meditate on what it is you want to manifest into this reality. Forget all of what is occurring in the world for a few seconds and just take time to visualize what you want your future self to be. Attract the ideal future to you by simply being. November 15th, while we are sleeping, the moon in Virgo opposes Neptune in Pisces. I can see us waking up today after having a wild dream. If you have a wild dream and remember it, make sure to write it down and revisit it, as it may prove to be useful, especially if you meditated the prior day or yesterday And it had to do with that meditation. The dream had to do with that meditation. So in the afternoon, the moon moves into Libra, and now the population is wanting to be relational and talkative. If you look at where Venus is in Scorpio, this tells me that we want deep conversations. We want to get intimate with it. Not sexually necessarily, but more so in a I really want to get to know you kind of way. Not non-surface level conversations. This may prove useful as the events of the past week can be psychoanalyzed so we can properly digest what has happened. Now, a little later, the moon in Libra sextiles Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. This could be those deep conversations we were having to now be broadcasted on the news. Maybe a podcast comes out that goes viral talking about what everyone has talked about, giving us an overview and review of what has happened. This could also come from politicians as well, giving us a recap on how all this has affected us. Potentially, this could be where the government shutdown ends. We shall see. Now, rising signs. We're doing rising signs from Aries to Pisces, and this is the Mercury retrograde, Mercury retrograde, Mars conjunction in Sagittarius. Aries, this Mercury-Mars conjunction is occurring in your 9th house. I will say that this is probably not the best time to travel. There could be delays, there could be communication issues, there could be accidents. Just being real. If you have to take a plane or travel long distance because it was in the plan, then so be it. If you can schedule it, if you can reschedule it, then that might be a good idea. When Mars went into Sagittarius, it opposed Uranus on the same day. We had that incident at the Reagan National Airport. On the same day, we had that incident, right? This may not be a good time to fly. If you are not flying, you may get some news about a book you were publishing, or a mentor calls you with some heavy news, whatever it is. Make sure to check, recheck, and check again your itinerary, your plans, and everything else. Let me know how this turns out for you in the comments below. Taurus, this Mercury-Mars conjunction is occurring in your 8th house. Now, Taurus, the 8th house is the house of investments, trust, and death, and transformation, and wisdom, and other things. Now, this Mars-Mercury conjunction could be an investment you had skyrocket in value. This could also be a death. Now, a death doesn't necessarily have to mean physically. It could mean the death of a part of you, or part of an event or something that needed to change, or death of an intimate partnership dynamic, or whatever, the beginning and the end of something. In terms of this trust aspect, you may be forced to trust someone that you don't normally trust. In doing so, you gain some wisdom that you would have missed if you didn't trust them. There are many different ways that this can play out, right? For something transforming your reality. It may happen just abruptly and aggressively as well. Let me know how it works out for you in the comments below. Gemini, this Mercury-Mars conjunction is occurring in your 7th house. You may be getting into a verbal altercation with a partner, business, platonic, or romantic, because this person decided to pop off at the mouth, or they gave you some news that you told them to not do, and they did it anyway, and now you're just mad as fuck. Right? Something to that effect. This also could be coming from a hater, someone who is your literal opposition. Maybe someone is trying to teach you something, and you're just like, STFU, right? You may feel like you are getting jumped verbally by everyone around you. It can play out in a lot of different ways, so let me know how it worked out for you in the comments below. Cancer, this Mercury-Mars conjunction is occurring in your 6th house. Now, Gemini, this would be a good time to tighten up on your routine and your health. Get your health in order. Get all that shit in order. And fix any bad habits or behaviors you may have. Mars is a malefic planet, meaning it can cause issues within the signs it is in. With conjuncting Mercury, this could literally be bad news in regards to these areas of your life. Now, I will say that Mars is comfortable being in a fire sign, as it can also actually add energy to this part of the chart if controlled. It is possible that you can harness this energy and transmute it for the positive. This applies double for Cancer rising and progressed Cancer rising. Another thing is that this conjunction occurs at 6 degrees in Scorpio, which gives us the Virgo signature. This, in a way, amplifies the sixth house energy. In fact, as Virgo represents the sixth house, this one seems important to you. If you're a Cancer sun, you will be able to see this. A Cancer moon, you will be able to feel it. And a Cancer rising, you will experience it. Chamomile tea, lemon balm tea, meditation, and deep breathing are a few ways to help calm the Mars energy. Let me know how it works out for you. Comments below. Leo, this Mercury-Mars conjunction is occurring in your 5th house. This could be news about a child or pregnancy, or it could be hearing about a potential C-section. I would suggest eating okra water or drinking it. What you can make yourself to help make the process at least slightly easier. You may experience a huge gambling loss or a huge gambling win. I wouldn't gamble either way. But if you decide to, and you realize that it can go either way, just realize it can go either way for you in a crazy way. If you're going to party or just trying to have some sexual fun, I would really be careful with that, as this energy can become abusive or it can become grapey. Or you may come across as a tryhard or try hard. Now, there's a possibility that you get some news from a fling that you contracted something you didn't, if you didn't use protection. Please make sure to strap up before you get wet. You gotta stay safe out here, because people is nasty as a motherfucker. Now, this applies double to Leo rising and Leo rising. Progressed. Let me know how it works for you in the comments below. Virgo, this Mercury-Mars conjunction is occurring in your 4th house. You may be getting into a verbal or physical altercation in your house environment. DV is possible here. Use your context clues for that word. So you want to be aware of that. You could be that family member. Maybe a mother comes out and tells you something that completely alters how you see them, and now your relationship with them is tainted. It could be that you are the one who gets bucked with them and causes the chaos. It may be a good time to keep your cool. Now, this may be hard with family, however, but it will be proof. This is useful information. Remember to not only forgive them for yourself, but forgive them for yourself. For we know not what we do. Forgive them, Father, for we know not what we do. Let me know how it works for you in the comments below. Libra, this Mercury-Mars conjunction is occurring in your 3rd house. This could be a desire to get away from your city, because you heard a message on the news that trigger you to making that jump. Maybe you get an alert through someone telling you that you need to learn this skill because it is an emergency, and now you are selfishly focused on completing that task. Maybe you are in college or taking a course and you realize that you forgot to study something, and now you're doing a last minute cram session. I do see this being something that you are choosing to or having to learn aggressively. Let me know how this works out for you in the comments below. Scorpio, this Mercury-Mars conjunction is occurring in your 2nd house. We are talking about getting some money. Well, potentially. I do think, however, that you will be getting a tip about a way to increase your financial acumen or income. Or it could be a self-help book that you read that brings forth a new self-confidence in yourself that changes your aura. You may find yourself awe from this. I would say that it's possible that this could be the loss of money as well. I think that it's less likely as the sun is in your sign, so you're being lit up, and Venus is now in your sign, so you have the capacity to attract more abundance by just existing and being yourself. So let me know how it works out for you. Comments below. Sagittarius, this Mercury-Mars conjunction is occurring in your house. I can see you continuing to fuck niggas up. You're probably doing hella shit talking and causing a ruckus. I would say, now that Mercury is in retrograde, You may actually be rethinking some of what you have been saying. You may have caused too much dissonance, potentially. Now, with your sun in your 12th house, you may be getting energetic hate from non-physical entities, like people's thoughts. This could be what you may be trying to fight. One thing's for sure and two things for certain. Your personality is definitely amplified from this transit. Now, of course, none of this is 100%, but let me know how it works for you in the comments below, because I am very fascinated and want to know what's going on with you, Sag. Capricorn. At least I didn't yawn in the camera this time. This Mercury Mars conjunction is occurring in your 12th house. You are probably getting attacked by energies, not physical people necessarily, but more so like people projecting, or you feel like you have to defend yourself in your dreams lately. Maybe even feeling like you can more intensely perceive the supernatural. There may be a message that you get from a synchronicity or a dream or a coincidental link up with someone. I would make sure to take heed to that message as it may prove to be important in the future or even currently. As the sun is in your 11th, it could be coming as a byproduct from an experience that you have had with a friend group. Let me know how it works out for you in the comments below. Aquarius, this Mercury Mars conjunction is occurring in your 11th house. I think you're about to throw some hands. I think you're about to throw some hands with your friends. Maybe you don't throw hands physically, but there may be a verbal scuffle as you get a message from someone that rubs you the wrong way. You may actually be the one who is causing the commotion. Either way, I see some type of verbal confrontation with a friend group or neighbors or within the humans you hang around. As the sun in your 10th is in your 10th, and its conjunction is second house to your sun in your 10th, this is your job or status consciously manifesting a message of whoop ass. So this could be occurring at your place of work as well. If it is, please be reminded that this is your place of work. So if you want to say working there, be careful. But let me know how it works out for you in the comments below. Pisces. This Mercury Mars conjunction is occurring in your 10th house. Now, Pisces, this seems like you are having a talk with a boss or authority figure where you all sit down or not and talk or argue about something that you have already talked about. Kind of like a performance review or a past event that was put on the back burner and now needs to be ironed out. With the moon in your 7th and its conjunction in your 5th house to the moon in Leo at 29 degrees, I think your relationships, platonic, business, and romantic may express a feeling of egotistical courage that emboldens them to maybe even speak up on your behalf. An example of this could be a wife hears about what happened and then she calls up to the job and lets the manager or people at the job get a piece of her mind. Right? Of course, this is only an example and it can happen in many ways, right? Let me know how it works out for you in the comments below. Now, in conclusion, this week, a lot happening, man. Mercury Mars conjunction. That Mercury Mars conjunction is going to be, it's pretty big, man. That Mercury Mars conjunction. I want you to really go back and listen to your specific sign and think about the energy of that, because it's going to be very aggressive in that area of your life. It may not play out using the examples I gave, because I'm just giving you potentials, right? But I really want you to go back and think about what those energies mean, how they vibe, and look out for that type of energy within your life. Because Mars, Mercury, and Sagittarius, especially on Mercury retrograde, is pretty intense, man. Pretty intense. Mars already showed us what it's here to do in Sagittarius when it went into Sagittarius, and then the explosion in Reagan National Airport. Granted, it was opposite of Uranus, but Uranus is still kind of there. It's in 29 degrees of Taurus, but it's still there. It didn't move. It only moved a degree away. It's still there. So be aware of that. That being said, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. You know, I want you guys to realize that I am not any more special than you. You are special. You are great. You are amazing. You are wonderfully made. You are perfect. You are a God. God is perfect. You are perfect. Even though we may have flaws on this physical plane, you are still perfect with those flaws. Thank you guys for joining. Please join the congregation. The link is in the description below, and the link is in my bio, depending on where you're listening to this at. Thank you again. With that being said, peace out.
Cause I forgot hit the roof and I go cool, cock a ride.